What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. I want to give my Mayweather versus Pacquiao final press conference review. Now, when they were initially starting, it looked similar to the press conference at the Nokia Theater in Los Angeles, the one they did weeks out. And I was like, oh, this is going to be another semi, just boring, just kind of running the mill where everyone's being respectful. But this one was slightly different. This one actually got me a little bit more amped up. Now, one thing I did notice is when they panned to the crowd, I seen empty seats. So I don't know if it was just blocked off for media only. It didn't really sound like a lot of crowd participation. So I don't know if the public was able to witness the final press conference or if you had to pay. But it looked like there was some gaps. I remember like the final press conference for Canelo versus Mayweather. I think it was a bit louder in terms of crowd energy. Like they would announce somebody to the podium and you don't really barely even hear any claps. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So I don't know the deal with that. But as far as the press conference, one thing that I did actually like was it was a chess match between the networks. Previously, these guys have been very just cordial in business, but you were able to see a lot of subliminal and subtle jabs at the other network. So it was kind of like when you watch boxing and it's a chess match to see who makes the first mistake. And I actually liked it. I thought it made it more enjoyable than everybody, just being like run of the mill and, oh yeah, I want to thank, HBO guys. I want to thank Showtime, and Showtime be like, oh, HBO's been great. They're actually going at each other. Bob Arum was going extremely hard repping for HBO. He was like, HBO number one, the number one company. We got Canelo Kirkland, Vladimir Klitschko Jennings did the highest ratings in 3 years, and he's talking about Kodo, and they got HBO now. He was really putting his foot down. And I gotta agree, HBO, I've loved having a subscription to them. Even their original programming, like True Blood, I watched it and it started getting kind of weird with fairies. But they had shows like The Wire, Boardwalk Empire, The Sopranos, just a lot of great content. Their sports documentaries, their, with Bryant Gumbel, Real Sports, and the 24/7. They have great programming. I really like what they put together. The Legends Speak, At Last, just real good stuff. So I agree with Bob Arum. HBO, they do a hell of a job in terms of the producing and the video production of the content they put out, especially in the sports arena. Then Showtime, Steven Espinoza got up and he wasn't going to let that stuff slide. So you could see the little hints at an underlying beef. Steven Espinoza was rebuttaling basically, but he did it in a professional way, which made it that chess match that I'm talking about. Steven Espinoza was kind of rebuttaling the Ken Hirschman from HBO and Bob Arum, who were more or less talking about a lot of their networks and the promotion and what they got coming up and how good Terrence Crawford versus Thomas Delorme, Lucas Matisse, Ruslan all on one card. And then Steven Espinoza got on and he placed the first real jab. And he was basically like, you know what? A magnitude or an event of this magnitude, people often forget what this is really about. This is actually about the fighters, Mayweather and Pacquiao. Nobody put the work in. Nobody told Floyd Mayweather to get up at 3 a.m. and go run 8 miles. Nobody told Pacquiao to train vigorously and dedicate himself to the craft. So it's not about the networks. It's about the two fighters. That's what we're really here for. If it weren't the two fighters, it wouldn't be them. And I mean, I got to agree with that. People do lose sight when you get into a colossal event like this. They lose focus on what really matters. It becomes more of like a corporate business scheme. Like, oh, we're going to charge people for the weigh-ins and Tecate versus Corona, who's going to win the bidding war and different things like that. And people forget we're here to watch and celebrate two amazing athletes, two great boxers. People want to argue and talk shit to Mayweather, talk shit about Pacquiao, but ultimately the interest is because of what these fighters have built, and to see a great match that needs to happen. So I kind of like how Espinoza took that jab, and I don't think it's about the networks. Later on, Bob Arum got back up on the podium, and it looked like he was trying to save face because he basically started, he said, I don't agree with Steven Espinoza on much, but it is about the fighter. So it looked like Arum tried to clean it up a bit. Bob Arum, to me, before he introduced Pacquiao, he had this long, drawn out like preamble, and that part got a little bit excessive. He was talking about Pacquiao. It's like basically this is what I'm gonna sum it up as. They're trying to, I don't know if it's trying to like paint the picture. We know Pacquiao's a good guy, but I feel like they're really trying to hit the nail on the head and let the judges know or let people know how great of a Samaritan Pacquiao is. Bob Arum, again, he just got kind of long-winded where he was talking about Pacquiao being a great guy and he's an inspiration to millions. Like, we've all seen Manny the movie and these build-ups and stuff. We know the impact he has on his nation and the people. So Bob Arum was just talking and talking. Then he went from that to Pacquiao saving the life of a Filipino woman in Indonesia. The guy got caught drug trafficking, and he wrote and like basically asked for clemency, and everyone that was involved in the drug trafficking in Indonesia got executed or whatever, except for her. He was able to pardon her and spare her life because she was a Filipino woman. And like, to me, like that doesn't really, that's not a good analogy that you want to, like, somebody's doing dirt and they're involved in like a drug trafficking ring and you save her life. I mean, that's cool that he did that, but I mean, I'm not saying I want to see people get executed, but it just, I mean, what does that really mean? What does that have to do with the fight? You know what I'm saying? That Pacquiao was able to get a Filipino woman's life spared. Like, to me, that doesn't really show how great of a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was a Crip and I'm in a gang and Tukey Williams, I looked up to him and they were about to execute him, and I'm like writing to Arnold Schwarzenegger to get his life spared. I mean, I don't really think that just makes me the greatest person. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just because you have an allegiance or like a fondness or a mutual respect for somebody and you do something, that doesn't really prove. Like, if you help somebody clean up their life, get off drugs, help them off the streets, encourage them, like what Manny Pacquiao does with kids, those are examples I would use because Manny Pacquiao has influenced people in that. But I mean, sparing someone's life who was involved in drug trafficking, I mean, that doesn't really support Manny Pacquiao being this, you know what I mean, person that does random acts of kindness. That's just my opinion. Freddie Roach was very short. I don't know if he had a prep talk because of the last one. He's like, Floyd, we're going to kick your ass. And just blurted that out. But he kept it short and sweet. He says, it's a big fight. He's never seen anything this big. Best of luck to both. Kept it short, got off the mic. They didn't, again, have Floyd Sr. Pacquiao got up, and he said, a lot of questions in your mind that only God can answer. Pacquiao seemed like, when he was talking about his past, living on the streets, to what he's become, he said he never imagined these things were possible. So he sounded like he got a bit choked up on that particular part, just talking about his journey from the streets of the Philippines and starving, not knowing where his next meal was going to come from, to the MGM and mega fights and what he's about to be a part of right now. So that was a tender moment. I really like that for Pacquiao. Leonard Ellerby, he did a good job speaking, in my opinion. He was kind of to the point, and he also took a jab at Bob Arum, HBO. He said, Arum, you forgot one thing. We have the #1 fighter on Showtime. And then everyone started clapping. Mayweather got up on the stage. They started clapping. So it looked like Floyd had a good amount of fans in the crowd or whatnot. Floyd also, his voice sounded a little bit shaky. And he was just talking. He was like, I told you this yesterday. He always sounded like he just woke up. Like, Floyd, I think Floyd, to me, this is my honest opinion. I'm going to really break it down. I think Floyd likes the mystery. He likes people not knowing and speculating on him. Like, when people were asking him about Pacquiao and he was just giving vague questions. He likes that type of shit. I'm telling you, like, I'm really into psychology and I could see it. He likes that mystery, that aura about him, that mystique, if you will, that the enigma where people are like talking and they're going to speculate and be like, and this is the thing. I think people read too far. To me, Pacquiao and Mayweather both sound like they kind of got choked up, or it was, they had a bit of nerves more than normal. You know what I'm saying? They both sound like a little bit of shakiness. Pacquiao was stuttering. See, this is the thing. Like, when I hear Pacquiao, sometimes his English sounds very clear, and then sometimes he like stuttering his words a little bit more. So to me, they both sound like they had a bit of nerves, probably more so than normal. But this is the thing. I don't look too far into all that shit because I do look into psychology into boxing. However, the biggest difference is with like face-offs and stuff. Pacquiao, they did the fighter pose and the face-off. Mayweather, this is the other thing. Mayweather looked pretty big next to Pacquiao. He's like a lot bigger than Pacquiao in terms of height and stuff like that. But we know Pacquiao has some crack. But like they're doing the face-off. Mayweather didn't smile, didn't break character, and Pacquiao's smiling. So some people are gonna be like, "Oh, Pacquiao's dumb. He's scared." I just can't look too far into that. Pacquiao always smiles. If you know the history of these fighters, Pacquiao smiled. He was like laughing when he was posing next to Josh Clottey, and that was a one-sided fight. So some of you guys look too far. You look for anything for clues. I look for things like when I'm looking at psychology in boxing, I look for people acting out of character when they're normally a certain way and they're going above and beyond. This is always Floyd. He likes the mystery. He was like this at the first press conference. The only thing he's really not doing is trash talking, and I've seen him turn that on and off at will too. He talked a lot of shit to Hatton, a lot of shit to Shane Mosley. Robert Guerrero's dad was saying, "He's a woman beater. You guys like this guy? Woman beater, baby." And he kept composed in that fight too. So, like I said, I don't look too far into that. Like people, "Oh, Floyd's voice is shaky, man. He's scared." Like, I mean, they said the same thing for Canelo at the face-off. I had a channel back then. They were doing the face-off, and somebody said Floyd's gonna lose. They left me a comment. I remember this. It just stood out. They left me a comment and said Floyd Mayweather's gonna lose. He looks scared because he's chewing his gum really fast. Like, what? Get the fuck out of here with that. Like, because he's chewing gum fast. And then you watch the fight. He didn't look scared when he was tagging Canelo. So, as far as Pacquiao and Mayweather, I'm not looking too far into that junk about the face-off. You know what I mean? They were at one point during the face-off, the photographers like, "Over here, Floyd, over here, Manny," and trying to get him in position to get the best picture, and they both were laughing. So, I mean, some of y'all look at that dumb shit like people. That's how I know who knows boxing. Deontay Wilder versus Bermane Stiverne. The people were leaving the same comment. Deontay Wilder has chicken legs, man. Like, okay, and he still beat Bermane Stiverne. What's your point? You know what I mean? Floyd's chewing his gum too fast. Pacquiao smiled. Pacquiao smiled in like all his face-offs, and he beat the shit out of those people. So, yeah, I mean, some of y'all get hung up on really like stupid stuff. Now, that's just my assessment of what happened. It was actually good. Like I said, I like the network underlying beef, seeing Mayweather say his piece, saying Pacquiao, and that's really it. I'm waiting for the fight. May 2nd, big fight. That's all I got to say for this video. Make sure you like my video as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off. Now, normally I be on some other shit because I'm from Southside, man. But Floyd, he like my little brother, nigga. Something special. I know you was mad when I said you couldn't read that Harry Potter book, nigga. You gotta do something, baby.